Good afternoon to everyone. The time is 12:17, and we'd like to welcome you to the Pharr International Bridge Board meeting for August the 16th, 2023. And we're going to go ahead and start with the roll call. Here. Here. Here.
Here. Here.
Present. Need a motion to excuse Member Veas.
A motion? Second?
Motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Campero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in the invocation by Luis.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Lord, we come to you today asking for your guidance as we proceed with the business matters at hand. May your glory and peace fill this meeting, as these are our plans, but it is your plans that prevail. For this we pray. Amen. At this point, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, if you'll allow me, I'd like to welcome to the Bridge Board Ms. Ilse Vidaurri from Trancasa. Welcome on board, and we're happy to have you. She is newly appointed to the Bridge Board.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Very happy to join the experts here in the industry, and very glad to be here.
Thank you, Ilse. And also, I would like to I know he's not here, we'd like to thank, on behalf of the Bridge Board, on behalf of our staff, on behalf of everybody here, Mr. Larry Hernandez, who recently sat on our board and served on our board for several years. We want to thank him for his service and his continued support throughout the past few years. I don't know if there's anything we might want to add regarding that, but just wanted to thank him on our behalf.
We just want to, obviously thank whoever helped us here at the board, like Larry, and welcome our new member. And I know she was going to bring a lot to this board and help us move forward with the new projects.
Yes, we have a lot of plans, so we look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll continue with the crossings and revenues report for July 2023.
Good afternoon, Chairman, board members, city officials. Mrs. Ilse, welcome, ma'am. For the record, Fred Rowan, Director of Operations at the Pharr Bridge. I'd like to present the crossings and revenues for the month of July, fiscal year 2022-2023. On page number 3, we have the southbound car crossings. These are cars that are traveling from U.S. to Mexico to the Pharr Bridge for the month of July. We crossed a total of 43,707 cars, which represents an increase of 2,619, or an increase of 6.37% for the month of July. Also, I'd like to share with you the other crossings from other ports of entry. These are, again, cars that are traveling southbound from U.S. to Mexico. We had Gateway, a decrease of 4,590, a decrease of 4%. Veteran Los Tomates, an increase of 732 cars, 1% increase. Free Trade Los Indios, a decrease of 611, a decrease of 2%. A combination of all three bridges, a decrease of 4,469, which represents a decrease of 2%. Eagle Pass, they had an increase of 12,253, an increase of 5%. Laredo Bridge, they had an increase of 23,148, an increase of 6%. McAllen Hidalgo, they had an increase of 22,590, an increase of 10%. On Salduas Bridge, they had an increase of 18,828, an increase of 19%. A combination of both bridges, an increase of 41,418, or an increase of 13%. Progreso Bridge, they had an increase of 3,431, an increase of 8.43%. Donna Bridge, they had an increase of 10,999, an increase of 21.87%. The Pharr Bridge, again, an increase of 2,619, an increase of 6.37%. Page number 4, we have the southbound truck crossings for the month of July. We crossed a total of 54,602 trucks, which represents a decrease of 5,147, or a decrease of 8.61% for the month of July. Also, I'd like to share with you the other crossings from other ports of entry. Again, these are trucks that are traveling from the U.S. to Mexico Veteran Los Tomates, they had an increase of 2,333. Free Trade Los Indios, an increase of 116. A combination of both bridges, an increase of 2,449 and an increase of 12%. Eagle Pass, they had an increase of 490 trucks, 3% increase. Laredo Bridge, 8,699, an increase of 4%. Pharr Bridge, a decrease of 5,147, a decrease of 9%. Progreso Bridge, they had an increase of 362 trucks, an increase of 8%. The Ansel Dudas Bridge had an increase of 1,742 trucks for the month of July. On page number 5, we have the northbound truck crossings for the month of July. These are trucks that are driving from Mexico through the U.S. at the import lot here in Pharr, Texas. Total crossings of 56,078 trucks, an increase of 481 trucks, or an increase of 0.87%. As well, on the agriculture side, the Pharr International Bridge total 16,634 trucks crossings for the month of July, representing a total of 29.7% of all the imports that are coming from Mexico to the U.S. through the Pharr Bridge. As well, on the agriculture side, the Pharr International Bridge import lot show an increase of 43 trucks, or 11.2% over the same month fiscal year in 2021-2022. On page number 6, we have a combination of both. These are southbound and northbound truck crossings, commercial vehicles. For the month of July, we crossed a total of 110,680 trucks, representing a decrease of 4,666, or a decrease of 4.5% for the month of July. On page number 7, we have revenues. Total revenues collected for the month of July, we collected a total of $1,314,776, which represents a decrease of $105,974, or a decrease of 7.46% for the month of July. Overall, from October to July, we collected a total of $14,937,576, which represents an increase of $651,480, or an increase of 4.56% US dollars. Page number 8, we have the crossings by axles. On cars, we crossed a total of 43,707. 2 axles, 2,713. 3 axles, 4,739. 4 axle, 1,078. 5 axle, 44,346. 6 axle, 1,516. Wide loads, we crossed 159. Special crossing, 51, which makes a total of 98,309 crossings for the month of July. Chairman, this concludes my report. If you have any questions.
Just comment on the ag, 16,634 is so far the lowest crossing for the year.
Yes.
Which is good.
Again, yes.
Compared to before, that was 13,000.
And there was a slight increase, but we did have an increase compared to last year, same month. 43 trucks, and again, start of the pro season, as you know, starts in October, so everything by then will pick up as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Mr. Owen,
Yes, sir.
what do you feel is like the reason for the decrease?
The decrease on the trucks, again, there's other ports of entry that are, you see the numbers on southbound, there's other ports of entry that had an increase compared to our bridge. Definitely, there's the economy as well. As you know, there are several factories in Mexico that are closing. We have actually two factories in Reynosa. There is one factory in Matamoros that had a decrease as well on the maquilas.
Yeah.
But mostly it's the 2-axle, 3-axle, and the 5-axle. But it's several factors. One of them is the economy. The peso devaluation, as you know, the peso is very strong to the dollar. That is causing a lot of the issues as well. But again, there's other factors as well.
I agree with you. I think it's the Mexico exchange rate. It used to be 21 in December, or 20.50, and now it's at 17.
Exactly.
So they lost 20%. It's 20% more expensive to work with Mexico right now. 22%.
As well, yes.
So that's what I think is affecting everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If there's no more questions, we'll move to the finance report for June 23.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city administrators, we do have Carla Saavedra, City Finance Director, for the record, to give more of a technical status on the report for June for financial. But we do have Eddie Gutierrez from Bluestone Capital, who's going to give us an update on where we stand financially.
Good afternoon, board members. For the record, my name's Eddie Gutierrez. I'm with Bluestone Capital Solutions, a financial consultant for the bridge. The financial report is for June, the end of June of 2023. It is 9 months, 3/4 of the year. The revenues, the total revenues for the year were at 15,447,000. As you can see, 85% of that consists of the toll collections. The second one thereafter is 7% at about 1,035,000. That consists of the interest from the bonds funds that we have. The next one that you have there is at 5.6. That it consists from other revenues, which is basically transfer ins from the city that had taken out prior. So that's a transfer in that we got there. Thereafter, you have rental income you have rental income, and then you have also the peso exchange on their total for 15,447,000. Thereafter, you have the expenses. The expenses are 50,100,000. It gives us revenues over expenditures of 347,000. You can see that we're still on the transfer outs. We're still at 75%. You see thereafter the debt service comes in after that at 8%, and then personnel, our staff, comes in at about 6.7. So that gives us revenues over expenses of 347,000. If we look specifically at the revenues thereafter, you can see that when we look at our budget compared to our actual, where our budget was at 13,227,000, we're at 13,166,000. Still a little behind on that, but when you compare it to last year at the same time this year, we're about 6% over of what we did last year. So we're still way ahead of what we did last year. Then you look at the expenses. When we look at the expenses overall, how we're doing to budget, the yellow is what we've actually spent, and the gray area is actually what's remaining in our budget. We're supposed to be 3/4 of the year. We're supposed to be about 75% of what we budgeted for. We're at about 79%, a little over. We did have some expenditures that we had to pay at the beginning of the year for those board members and for that have not been here. We had to pay the insurance ahead. We paid at the beginning of the year, so that's why it's a little over. And then some transfer outs have gotten us there too. So overall, I think yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. What's the dollar amount for the actual operating budget that's budgeted here?
The operating budget is about, I'm gonna say about 4 million. But if you Carla, we're okay with that? Okay, yeah. But overall, we're still at 79%, so we're still well within budget of where we're supposed to be at. So the next slide gives us the debt service. This is the bond debt service. We've kept this here. The DAP 15 and DAP 16 took about 16 million of that, and the bridge expansion is taking up about a little over 37 million of that. So, and this is the breakdown of the payments, annual payments on this. You have the principal and the interest, and then the total debt service that gets paid on an annual basis. The next slide is the southbound recapture rate. So this is through July. This is actually comparing that to Fred's numbers. So you're going to see that through the end of physical year today, through the end of July, you have on the yellow, on the blue you have northbound, and on the yellow you have the southbound trucks crossing. Consistently, we've been below on the yellow side throughout the years. Now we're ahead. So what that means is that all the northbound trucks that are crossing, we're recapturing them back. So it's a southbound recapture rate of 105%. If you look at the next slide, when we zone in and look at physical year 2023, you can see that we started off at 107% of the recapture rate. And then there now, towards the end of the year, it's starting to trend down almost at 100 for last month, and we're at 97% for this month. So you can see now that the northbound is crossing more trucks than our southbound trucks are. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer any questions for you all.
Question on the credit card surcharge at 870,000.
Can we go back to that?
Is there any way that can be charged back? Where's that charge actually coming from?
That's actually well, are you looking at the expenses? Yeah, we're collecting that.
Right.
Yeah, so this is
So just like we saw a couple things in the previous month, is there a way that can be charged back to them for actually using the card and not cash?
well, we are, that's actually revenue right there.
That's a revenue.
That's right, yeah, the revenue you
Okay.
see right there in the orange, the 130,000, that's actually revenue that we're collecting
No.
from the,
No, go
Yeah,
back to the
so-
870,000 as a charge out. You're right,
go
it's
back
under
to-
revenue. It's 5.6%.
Go-
Go to the first slide.
first slide.
You're right, it's under revenue.
Yeah, it's under revenue. Yes, sir. So we're collecting that right now from our customers.
Got it.
All right. Any other questions?
Recapture rate should probably be in the 120.
In the 120?
Yes. Based on what other ports are doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right now at 97% for the month of July, so we're starting to trend down on that. So, yeah.
Any other questions? No? Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
No more questions of finance. We'll move to the engineer's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city administrators, we do have Ruben Alfaro, city engineer, to give a status on our projects.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. Ruben Alfaro, City Engineer for the record. I'm going to start with DAP 15. As you all know, the last week of July, we had the final inspection with GSA and CVP. I have the updated punch list report. We'll go through it. The first item is the general removal of all the construction debris at the project. Staging areas, the contractor's working on it. We're expected to finish that this week. There were some items at the primary inspection canopy. The metal panels were improperly installed, so the contractor is going to work on fixing those. It was not acceptable quality by GSA, so we got that comment from them. We're working on it. Item number 2, the touch-up paint for the primary boots. The surface was not smooth as expected. That touch-up paint was provided by the manufacturer, so we're in communication with the manufacturer to see what the issue was with that. Item number 3 was to fix an issue with the AC condensate water leak. We checked the water pump capacity, and I think the water pumps were going to be updated to a higher capacity to fix this issue. Item number 4 was to fix and replace the rain drip guard above the inspection boots, and that's also going to be worked on by the contractor. The installation of the floodlights has already been completed as part of this punch list. And the metal panels are, like I mentioned, are being worked on at the second BSIF exit as well. We'll go to the next one. Same issue with the touch-up paint on the second BSIF exit. That's been discussed with the manufacturer for the boots. And another issue with the concertina wire above the chain link gate, it's being fixed by the contractor. So as we can see from this, the flooring tiles also need to be fixed, minor details, and the closet door for the electrical section is not closing properly. So that's being worked on as well. Item number 7 is the exhaust fan inside the boot restroom was not working properly, so that's also on the contractor's punch list, and they're working on it. And obviously cleaning and retouching all the structural members once they're done with the construction. The generator and the ATS, the generator is already on site. The ATS is expected to arrive on September 11. So once both of them are in place, the next week we're expecting installation of them. Item number 11 is the properly seal all through roof and through wall penetrations at the top of the boots. So that's also being worked on by the contractor. And the final one, which is at the secondary inspection building, is to complete the replacing of the light fixtures that were not working properly. So as we can see from this report, they're minor items. The project seems to be slowing down, but it's because it's minor detailed items that need to be ironed out. Time to date is 1,071 days, which is 151% of the contract days. Place to date is 3.47 million, which is 98% of the funds. For the second BSIF exit as well, we have 1071 in days, 114%, and place to date is 4.1 million, which is 92% of the funds. And for both of the projects, we expect the completion to be this month. We expect the contractor to finalize in the next couple of weeks those punch list items. For
Next
the
month.
September?
September?
no, this month. Yeah.
Is it next?
For DAP 16, we executed 2 out of 3 AFA amendments, and we received approval from FHWA for the third for the third CSJ. So currently we're working on the AFA amendment with TxDOT and the DAA amendment with the federal government. That's in progress, and we expect that to happen in the next 3-4 months so that we can get the project to letting. And then for the International Bridge expansion, we posted a notice of opportunity to comment on the newspaper and the city's webpage. And we're currently in negotiations for the maintenance easement for the new bridge and for the required right-of-way for the overhead sign bridges. So that's ongoing. We expect to have the same ready to let on September, which already we have the plans completed. We expect environmental clearance by spring of 2024, hopefully even earlier, so we can get the project to letting as well. And that's all I have, and I'm here to answer any questions.
So back to what we had asked. So completion will be for this month. How
Yes.
soon could you CBP utilize the?
So that's in discussion with them. I know there's also a question on when we can use the BSIF exit from TxDOT. They haven't given us a decision, but that's being discussed already. Yeah. But also we have the generator that would be pending, but I know the discussion was that it wasn't gonna affect our ability to use that exit. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Quick comment. I know we had a very busy weekend. I'm gonna give some. We don't typically, but our friends at CBP did a great job this weekend. I know there was a lot of traffic on all ports because of the tax-free weekend, and great job across the board. I've heard so much things about other agents that you guys are having to bring down. TDY, I believe that's it. But I mean, we saw no delays at kind of some of the ports that I had seen over the weekend. So great job.
Good. Thank you.
If I may, regarding the second BSIF connector, or the second BSIF exit actually, with TxDOT, the latest we had gotten from them about a month and a half ago, maybe going on 2 months, was that they would be open completely in full swing by October of this year. But as of the last couple weeks, I believe that has moved to December. So when we talk about opening DAP 15 and making sure it's completely functional and completely operational, if CBP were to allow us to open, let's say in September, because we should be done by August, then we would not have that benefit of exiting to the second BSIF exit, not until TxDOT opens the gates for us then. So it's contingent upon that at this point. And we do have a meeting with TxDOT this coming Friday.
You know, it has to do, obviously you have a meeting where you're gonna find out, but does it have to do more with the building that needs more improvements? I mean, it's new, or manpower?
I think it's gonna be a little bit of everything. I don't have the specifics, but I know that one thing, there was a couple of pending matters when it comes to the engineering side or the construction side, something related to that. But obviously that building has been in existence since it was built back in 2012, so it needed some upkeeping, to say the least.
If we don't have any more questions, we'll move to the director's report.
Yes, sir,
You-
Mr. Chairman,
You have
members
anything
of
you
the
want to discuss now, or you want to go to executive session?
Yes, no, I can bring up a couple of things here, and one thing that I wanted to mention also, starting next month in September, we are gonna have Brownstone Consultants, which are our project managers for all our projects. They will be here at every meeting to answer any other specifics or any technical questions that might be needed. So Mr. David Chacon is here today with us, and we expect more of their partners to be here with us starting September. This other one that you see on the screen, this is our Industrial Warehouse Summit, or IWS2, as we're calling it. As we've discussed before, this is something that we planned since last year, since 2022. We started the planning process back in April. We held our first, or we launched the Industrial Warehouse Summit. This is in conjunction with our Economic Development Corporation, and this is to fulfill the need that there is for warehousing space. One of the issues that has come to light here in the last year or so is that regardless of trade, regardless of the shifts in trade, there is still not enough dry warehouse space or industrial capacity to fulfill know the needs of trade. So it is up to us to bring this to the region, invite our regional partners to ensure that we're fulfilling that gap. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, but this is part of our educational process to bring everybody to the table, from bankers to investors to industrial warehouse developers. And in this case, for this next one coming next week on August the 24th, we have invited our Economic Development Corporation, and we have invited our neighboring cities' economic development corporations to participate and give their angle, not just on the availability or non-availability of warehouse space, but also what are we doing as a region to set us up for a more competitive border region to attract nearshoring opportunities in the future. And I brought this up before. One of the things we've seen is in the state of Tamaulipas, if you look at the overall map for nearshoring, there's a very small percentage of companies that are looking at the state of Tamaulipas. Most of these companies are looking at the state of Nuevo León. Some of them are even looking at the states down the road. I believe one of them is the state of Jalisco. But at the end of the day, again, we need to be prepared for this because it's coming. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to be preparing for this. And it takes a regional approach to this because a lot of it is going to fall back on attracting not just the investments, but also the opportunities for training, the opportunities for housing, the opportunities for continuous development of the workers or of the workforce that's coming with these companies. And what this is, basically nearshoring, again, as we've been hearing for the past year or so, it's nothing new, but it's basically bringing back those companies that went overseas to operate and manufacture overseas. Now, because of the shipping costs of freight, of ocean freight, those companies want to be closer to the suppliers and they want to be closer to the consumers. So that is the term where the term nearshoring comes from in a nutshell. So we welcome the public to sign up for this. And if anybody's interested in participating for the next one, we're looking at sometime early November, mid-November for our next one. That would be the third part in the series.
Where are you gonna hold that? Where are you gonna have it? Here?
This is going to be at the Development Research Center on Dicker Road here in Pharr.
All right.
And it's from 9 to 2. We have a keynote speaker. We've been working with our friend Jorge Torres with Interlink. He's our moderator for the event since the beginning. And we were able to get a keynote speaker from CBP to address the public during the lunch period from about 12:30 to 1:30 or so, somewhere around there.
Any questions? Is that all you got before executive?
This is all I have for now, and I'd like to request to go into executive session for the rest.
All right, in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the International Toll Bridge Board hereby gives notice that it may meet in executive session to discuss and deliberate any items listed in the public portion of the meeting agenda, including items in accordance with the following, from section .071, 551.071 through .55, 551.087. The time is 12:45. From executive session, the time is 1:29. We're going back to line item 3A, approval of the minutes for July 26, 2023. We need a motion for that.
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Campero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Line item
3B, discussion and action, if any, on the Greater Pharr Chamber of Commerce membership renewal for $1,200 for the year.
Need a motion.
A motion? The second?
Motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Campero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item 3C, discussion and action, if any, on the 2023 Southern Border Conference sponsorship and exhibitors booth for $1,750.
A motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. Campero, second by Mr. Martinez. All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye, motion carries.
Moving on to item 3D, the final item, discussion and action, if any, on the Texas Real Estate Golden Sponsorship for $2,000.
Need a motion.
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Campero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
A motion by Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Campero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day.